Hi, and welcome back to Nadya's Identity Files. So, as you know, if you've been watching my show for a little while, at the end of every episode, I have an on-air social media consult to showcase my narrative identity branding strategy, at which point I have a raffle and one of my two guests gets to win the opportunity for the consult. But because we have a full-blown celebrity, fabulous actress, model, talent extraordinaire, and social media influencer, Julia, and my friend, Ilya. Hi there. And myself. So I figure, why don't we give you all watching some pointers on what you can do to stand out in your space, whatever it might be, as a potential social media influencer. So we'll just kind of have a brief roundtable conversation. I mean, what do you think? What would you suggest that somebody who's just starting out, trying to build their presence online, say they are an aspiring actor, and they just don't really know how to market themselves, and they want to do it with like utmost authenticity?
Well, foremost now, it's so simple to go on YouTube and find how-tos, and sometimes people learn better than reading. Many people are visual and kinesthetic learners, and I learned how to raise sparrows that had fallen from nests that way.
We should have gotten that bird outside. Animal rescue on air.
He was knocking. I think he was one of my old rescues. Maybe he recognized me.
Yeah, maybe. We'll be a
I haven't
bird
dressed like this
influencer.
since he found a home. So, and it's really important to be as unique as possible, because that's what makes you stand out from everyone else. It's the only thing. We all are, as I said, and as I was just getting started with that part, because I am an artist too.
Yeah.
But
briefly talk about your art. I mean, see some of your art in your social media a little bit. I would love to see more.
You continue to pin down, make bullet points of who you are, what you most identify with, what resonates with you. And then begin, I would say, Instagram attached to Twitter, and looking up and learning about hashtags. And
okay, I think that we have a
what is it today?
A Bill Clinton.
Next, we're gonna have a flasher out there trying to distract.
Wow.
You never know.
He's
in
doing
Hollywood.
He can to stand out in his space.
I was like almost gonna go like that to him, because he was doing that to me, just to like,
yeah. Hi there, guy.
Bye now.
Good old Hollywood and Vine, right? So I mean, do you
Let's
have
let
any
PR go for it, because I'm just learning how to be my own PR in specific ways.
Well, I'm a huge fan of the Instagram space, and I tell everyone to pretty much take photos throughout the day, whatever it is. Just have a bank of photos at your disposal. And yeah, you have to post 3 to 4 times per day, but it doesn't have to be exactly all about what you're doing at that moment. It could be something from a travel maybe 3 months ago,
or a quote that's one of your best quotes that you love.
Exactly. Just have a bank of photos and tie it in with Twitter. Always have Instagram and Twitter tied in together.
Yeah, I mean, of course, as I've indicated before in past segments, I mean, the social channels you use, it also is somewhat dependent on what you do professionally. I wouldn't advocate for every single person to get on Instagram necessarily, although at this point it's becoming kind of the bread and butter of social media. And it's a great way to tell stories, especially with the IG story feature. You can have kind of a stream of stories going throughout the day. And speaking of story, it's really important that you figure out yours and you understand that your story is constantly evolving, right? We're not static beings. We need to allow ourselves to have that inner growth that's often stimulated by external factors. So always remember to figure out your who story, your why story, and your what story. Your what being like, what is my narrative identity? Where is my identity? Where is myself derived from in terms of story? And you can figure that out by just fleshing out a few different 5-word statements. It doesn't have to be coherent. It can be abstract. Do the same for whom. Who am I trying to reach? What's their story? Think about the relationship. And then, of course, the why. why am I doing this? Why am I trying to make an impact in whatever niche space I'm in? And then figure that out in terms of the same type of strategy, 5 words. They don't have to be coherent. It doesn't have to necessarily make sense as long as it resonates with you. And look at the intersection between the 3. If there's no intersection, either you're so caught up in making sure you're doing it the right way, which again, there's no right or wrong way. It's merely an exercise to serve as a launch pad for how you explore yourself. And after you've done this, then you can start thinking about the social channels, right, that are going to work for you. I work with a lot of realtors. A lot of realtors are startled when I tell them that they need to be on Instagram, which quickly, Instagram is actually becoming like a really go-to platform.
Yeah.
It's
for
the only one that I
realtors.
really do now
Yeah.
because I
Yeah.
link Facebook, I link Twitter to that, and it's the way that I can self-manage it still.
It's my
as
favorite
of now.
platform.
Yeah,
It's
same here.
phenomenal.
It really is. I mean, I also tell people, unless they're doing something so out there and so abstract, so artsy, like, a wall painter who's just like out there like painting on walls and that's their thing, I'm not going to tell them to get on LinkedIn necessarily.
No,
but I
that
really
suggestion
think
would be more along the lines of periscoping at that.
periscoping or Instagram.
And getting on YouTube and
Yeah.
starting your channel.
Exactly. But I mean, LinkedIn is really important, and you can flesh out a very specific, very clear, catchy narrative using photos and video in the way you write your bio. So, I mean, there's a lot to it, but at the end of the day, it's all about having fun and building relationships and making an impact. I mean, that's what we're here for. That's what I'm here for.
And
I
there's
think that's what
power
you guys
in
are here
numbers. I'll add. So what you'll find you'll find your tribe, so to speak, that way too.
for. Yes.
Others that are interested in the same things.
That's right. And you can bounce off what they are saying to you, and that's going to serve as additional inspiration.
And that just generates
synergy.
more excitement, an inspiration. So you can have several muses in your life and have that be the catalyst to the passion it takes to just take your work, take who you are to the next level.
It's also important to not over hashtag as well.
Yes.
Be very specific with the hashtags that you're using.
Hashtag YOLO, hashtag Body Energy Club outside, hashtag we have to go now, hashtag thank you for being with us.
Hashtag you're awesome.
Hashtag
Hashtag bye. Thank you, Julia. Thank you,
Hashtag
Ilya.
mwah.